Today's topic at hand is one that really means a lot to me, so naturally I want to throw my hat into the ring on this one. So it's gonna be a long one. Buckle up. If you guys don't know who I am, if you're new to me, I'm Josh, or the 4th Gen Gamer. I make Pokemon videos here on YouTube, and I do variety streams and Pokemon streams on Twitch, and today I will be discussing Drew, aka MrTalent's video on the Pokemon community is drying, and why I think that. His video is centered around the idea that innovation in the Pokemon community is being stifled right now by YouTube having algorithmic shifts that don't favor innovation, to lack of creator support, as well as just the nature of the Pokemon games. Let's talk about that. Now, before I dive into things, I want to make a few things very clear. This video is meant to be part of a larger discussion. Nothing in this video will be accusatory in nature, and I truly appreciate Drew for making his video and sharing his perspective. While I haven't gotten to know Drew too well on a personal level, he's been an inspiration to some of my closest friends, and it's clear that he serves as a great role model for aspiring creators and viewers alike. I strongly believe that it's people like Drew that make our community great, by sharing their ideas and perspectives on all sorts of things, which is why I want to be explicitly clear that this video is purely an opinionated collection of thoughts addressing the points he's raised, not his character, his accomplishments, nor his content. I relish the opportunity to discuss content strategy and contribute to an ongoing discussion that affects many creators both on YouTube and Twitch every day. With that being said, I hope my fellow creators, large and small, will appreciate this video as a sort of a commentary on issues that face our community. Before we continue, I highly recommend that you give Drew's original video a complete watch, so you have a full understanding of his perspective and the issues that he's raised. For much of his video, Drew shares that there isn't much creativity left in the community, stating that there's no innovation at all, that nobody's innovating, and asking, is there no creativity left? He gives many reasons for this, one of which being that the YouTube algorithm doesn't allow creators to innovate the way we should be able to innovate, among other platform issues at hand. He shares that the only originality left in the community is Pokemon theory YouTubers and Draft League battlers, with much of our sub boxes being filled with this randomizer, this Nuzlocke, that randomizer, extreme this, extreme that. Drew also addresses the benefits of moving towards Twitch and the ability to create a better variety of content there. The last major point brought up in this video is the impact of Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee not having much potential, sharing that it won't bring back the community due to the fact that everyone will be doing the same LPs and shiny hunting, stating that it will be a nice little 2 weeks, then what? I'll be breaking down and sharing my opinion on all of these points in 5 sections, with an additional 6th on my experience on how to innovate and overcome some of these speed bumps. Before we continue, I will say that Drew has some points in this video that I do agree with and sympathize with him on, such as content creation becoming stressful and grueling when it's become about the money, or his points on the flexibility of the Twitch platform, which I will touch upon in the burnout section of this video. With all of that out of the way, let's get this show on the road. So, innovation, what is it exactly in this context? To me, innovation is the creation of content that provides entertainment value in new, meaningful, engaging ways by the derivative of an existing work or a completely new idea. Innovation in any online community isn't easy. Good innovation takes trial and error, lots of time, energy, and perseverance. Despite this, there are still creators out there, myself included, who pride themselves in pushing these barriers to innovate and create original ideas. I think it's a disservice to those who are passionate about innovative content to imply that there's no originality left in the Pokemon community. I believe this notion is wrong. I understand the concern of many people that Poketubers are creating the same content day in, day out, moving on from one randomizer to the next. But that isn't the whole picture. Aside from the theory tubers and Draft League battlers that Drew mentioned as the only originality left in the community, I would fight for countless creators that provide unique, original content consistently, both on YouTube and on Twitch. One of my favorite YouTubers for the last several months has been False Swipe Gaming. His channel provides in-depth videos on the competitive history of all kinds of Pokemon, from Gengar to KyleAye. These videos are not only well produced and entertaining, but they break the mold and are innovative in nature. PulseEffects Gaming has found massive success with this format and has capitalized on it for over a year. These aren't theory videos, these aren't top 5s, these are original. To be clear, there's nothing wrong with making top 5 videos, theories, or Nuzlocke variants for that matter. But purely in the context of innovation, there are creators who abide by this principle, such as PulseEffects Gaming. Yet another example on YouTube is Mixeli, a larger creator who has found himself a home in the community for high-quality rips of Pokemon music, as well as crossovers, compilations, and more. Just within the last few days, Mixeli has posted videos showcasing the evolution of Pokemon moves, from Gen 1 all the way up to Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee. He also encourages engagement by having viewers vote on their favorites via a YouTube poll. This idea of his is simple, but it's different, and I appreciate that. And it looks like his viewers do too. Another great instance of this is in the Roulette Free-For-All series pioneered by DuncanKneeDeep and HoodlumScrafty. They took the idea of a free-for-all battle, an original idea in itself, and spiced it up with the roulette component. Before each battle takes place, there is a program that generates a clause for the battle, such as stab-only moves, or legendary Pokemon only, and then randomly generates teams for all 4 players accordingly. This idea isn't only original, but it adds an additional component to the content to engage viewers before the battle even starts, which is not an easy thing to do. One of my best friends, GalacticElliot, recently began a passion project he's been planning for a long time on Twitch, Journey to the Living Dex. With Gold and Silver coming out on the Virtual Console, it's now possible to play each generation and transfer the Pokemon from your adventures to the latest Pokemon games. Elliot saw this potential and captured it. He's hired an artist to produce original layouts and backgrounds for each game, and his stream has followed him to Joedor so far in his pursuit to capture every Pokemon in existence, from Ghastly to Groudon. Personally, I take pride in my original ideas as well, from my brainchild in Cutthroat Pokemon to speedrunning a game that I've had no practice in while the former world record holder yells at me. I'm proud of the content I've put out and will continue to put out. I could go on for hours talking about VanderForge's iconic shiny challenges.
Ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of the channel of twitch.tv/VanderForge, tomorrow night we are going to be releasing a brand new shiny challenge. It's an innovative viewer battle interactive shiny challenge.
Whether you're in league with the Horde, or you side with the Alliance, there is one thing you all have in common. You are all warriors of Azeroth. Welcome to the Viewer Shiny Battle Challenge.
Pokemon's Shiny Contests, PokemonChallenges Hardcore Nuzlocks, the shiny races I participated in last year with StephOfAnime, SCF3, and others, to the random Wonder Trade battle idea hatched by JustPlayPokemon. But I think it's clear that innovation in the Pokemon community isn't dead. With all that being said, I know we can still do better as a community, which is why I will refute this notion that YouTube and the nature of the Pokemon games do not inhibit innovation. A large case made in Drew's video is that YouTube stifles innovation because of 2 reasons. First, algorithmically speaking, YouTube doesn't favor innovation. Second, YouTube doesn't give its creators enough support. We'll hit on that first point in a moment. For now, let's look at this second point, that YouTube's smaller creators aren't supported. Drew claims that if you have less than 1 million subs, you won't hear back from YouTube about anything. This notion is just plain wrong, and it's sad to me that this is the case because YouTube has made great strides in this department as of late. YouTube now offers, for all of its partners, that's anyone making revenue off of ads, direct email support. In fact, just a couple months ago, soon after she was partnered, our favorite flailing member of the Pokemon community, the wonderful StephOfAnime, needed help setting up her AdSense, and she went through YouTube's creator support email system. And not only were they fast, they were really helpful. In addition, real-time chat support is now offered for creators with over 25,000 subscribers and over 100,000 watch hours in the last year. I've already used this once as well. It's real-time support. No robots, no wasted time. Additionally, Drew shares that YouTube should put some up and rising stars, and this is also something that YouTube has taken some initiative on. On the trending page of YouTube, a creator on the rise is showcased every day. In addition, on the new youtube.com/gaming, there's now a daily gaming creator on the rise showcased. YouTube is not perfect, in fact, far from it, but they have made important strides recently, and I think it's important to credit them for that here. Anyway, back to the first point, it's hard to quantify the YouTube algorithm. Despite this, there are some basic things we know about it. YouTube favors promoting videos on homepages and suggestive videos for a variety of reasons. You can't solely pin down the success of a video in the algorithm to one facet of your video, be it the substance, the thumbnail, the title, the tags, or whatever it may be. Your video to the YouTube algorithm is a melting pot of the content you make and how people react to it. YouTube favors videos that promote longer watch sessions, watch minutes, and retention. And as a result, your title, tags, description, and thumbnail are not the only factors that affect your video. So what does all of this mean? In theory, good content wins. If you have a great idea for a video that you think people will watch the entirety of, do it. If your content proposes a great enough value proposition to the viewer within the first 10 to 15 seconds of your video and keeps them engaged after, your video is positioned for success. But still, even with the perfect recipe of ingredients, your beautiful creation may just be destined for failure. And this is where I empathize with Drew. The YouTube algorithm is unpredictable, and it's true that innovative ideas that stray from what you would typically create on your channel very often will take more of a nosedive than other videos on your channel that you would expect to do well. And it sucks. But I'll tell you what, the YouTube algorithm isn't the root of this issue. The inherent roadblocks of innovation are. Whether it's your group of friends, your coworkers, or your YouTube audience, it's an uphill battle to create and share something that everyone will not only give the time of day to, but take a genuine, lasting interest in. Heck, just look at Facebook. This originally was a computer program called FaceMash that Mark Zuckerberg wrote in 2003 while attending Harvard University, in which people could decide between two pictures which is hotter. I agree that the YouTube algorithm can be frustrating, demotivating, and sometimes downright illogical. But I believe that much of this is the byproduct of deviating from the norm. Until your new ideas are proven worthy to YouTube, why should they promote it? Just like Mark Zuckerberg's program has evolved into Facebook, what's stopping us from evolving our ideas? In the process of innovation, it is our responsibility to modify our ideas or scrap them and think of new ones if they aren't working, because not all of them will be a home run. I understand that this is challenging in the fast-paced environment of YouTube, but that's just the reality of the situation. And while there is hardship and frustration in the process, it makes it all the more worthwhile once you find something that really works for you. Sometimes it feels like the Pokemon franchise and community is larger than life. We've built a massively diverse community, spanning platforms and means of play. It's because of this that I think it's unfair to place any blame for a lack of innovation on the repetitiveness of the games. To be clear, there's a distinct difference between a lack of innovation, the topic I'm analyzing, and a lack of motivation to play the games due to their repetition. This lack of motivation to play Pokemon and the idea of burnout is very relevant right now in the Pokemon community, and it's one that I will be closing this video with. With that being said, these games have an immense amount to offer innovation-wise, and I think it's a disservice to the franchise as a whole to think that we can't produce new and fresh ideas because of the games we're given. In fact, I would make the argument that the Pokemon community has it pretty easy as far as brainstorming ideas go. I understand that the main series Pokemon games follow a template in many ways, and that battles can become stale after hundreds of matches. But there's more to the games than just collecting and competing. These games have many components that can be modified, replayed, or turned into their own minigames. For example, the Roulette FFA idea takes a pre-existing component of an online Pokemon game mode and creates something new out of it. Yet again, the random Wonder Trade battle takes the interactive feature of Wonder Trades and gamifies it, adding a point system based on the Pokemon you receive. As a community, we have a lot to work with. We have 120 games available to us when including spin-offs, and that's going to be 122 come November. Within all of these games, there's a ton to explore, manipulate, and create. From shiny hunting to battle facilities such as the Battle Frontier, to minigame type activities such as the Pokeathlon, Poffin making, and Pokemon Stadium minigames, to the lore of each game, to online functionality, and more. And we have an entire TCG and an all-encompassing anime, and a metric whalelord of fan games, from completely original ROM hacks to game modifications to completely new programs such as Pokemon. Let's do a quick comparison. As some of you may know, I've been dabbling in the world of Simpsons hit and run speedrunning recently. As a result of this, I've discovered new creators that I look up to and watch their content daily, including LiquidWiFi. LiquidWiFi is the world record holder for many categories in the Simpsons directory, regularly streaming solely this game. Compared to the Pokemon franchise, the accessibility of this game is naturally lower, creating much larger limitations. Despite this, Liquid regularly uploads content from his Twitch streams, including personal best times, stream highlights, and specialty runs of the game. Some of these runs are ridiculously funny, and rather innovative, from beating the game in a fire truck to playing the entire run with a set of DK bongos. Liquid maintains a large following on Twitch and YouTube thanks to his skill and commentary alike, but his innovation is another factor that makes him special. If Liquid can accomplish this with a singular game that is 15 years old, what is stopping us from doing the same within the Pokemon community? Pokemon games do not inhibit innovation. The issue of innovation and creating good, original content is so important to me. It's how I plan out my content, and it's why I appreciate and recognize those in the community who do it. Despite this, I want to be clear that there's nothing wrong with just making content that you're either having fun with or you know people will enjoy. In fact, while part of my content is with innovation in mind, my more traditional videos, such as my randomizer Nuzlocke, I make because I have fun making them, and I know people have fun watching them too. At the end of the day, we're all just Pokemon fans trying to have a good time and promote a positive message in one way or another. With that being said, I think it's great for creators to take a step outside their comfort zone, small or large, and take some risks. Whether this is your cup of tea or not, it's up to you, and that's okay. However, I don't think it's okay for people to have misconceptions as to why we can't innovate or why innovation doesn't work. In fact, earlier this year at PAX East, I gave a presentation at the Twitch booth with my best friends, StephOfAnime and GalacticElliot, promptly titled Keeping the Innovation Alive 20 Years Later, to share with the world why the Pokemon community is still relevant in 2018 through innovation. The segment included 3 sections: community involvement, game modification, and cultural influence. The 3 of us shared strategies as to how you can innovate your content to make the idea of original content more accessible, and I'd like to share some of these elements with you guys watching, in addition to some other ideas that I've gathered. There are many ways to go about creating a new idea, and these are just some general guidelines to build off of. Also, since these are general, you can apply them to any game really. A great way to brainstorm new ideas is to break down the parts of the game you're playing. Take Mario Kart for example. There are different tracks, carts, wheels, characters, speeds, cups, minigames, and more. You can take any of these 3 orientations listed and create some original project out of a simple Mario Kart race. For example, you can involve your community in many ways. You can have your Twitch chat vote real time, or your YouTube comments vote for a future video on certain parameters, from the track to the type of cart, the character, or more. You could even keep track of online matches with viewers and reward them for winning a certain number of times. From a game modification orientation, you can make up all sorts of challenges. I did a basic one years ago on my old LP channel. My friend Josh K and I raced against each other with upside down controllers, and it was hilarious. Try a 1v1 Baby Park blindfolded race, or maybe have both players use only one hand with tilt controls. Finally, cultural influences can be used in many ways to your advantage. From other games, to TV shows, to memes and more, there's plenty to pick from. A great way to start thinking in this mindset is by asking yourself, what do I enjoy and why do I enjoy it? Sticking with the Mario Kart example, if you love Fortnite, why not just add elements of it to your content? You could create your own Mario Kart Battle Royale with your own set of rules. This can include toggling the bombs only option and selecting stages that people can fall off, such as Grumble Volcano, and the last man standing wins. Are these the most sound ideas? Maybe, but maybe not, and that's what's tricky about innovation. You need to be ready to see something not work and have flaws. For example, I've had successful innovative projects, but those did not come with previous flawed attempts, along with other innovative projects that were complete busts. I rebooted an old talk show type series that was the idea of old school sin years ago on the Pokemon Fab 5 YouTube channel called Poketubers On. The premise of this video was to have one question at hand. For example, what was your first shiny Pokemon? And then have a slew of creators answer the question. While it seemed like a great idea at the time, when I rebooted the series in spring 2017, it didn't catch much traction and I decided to pursue other ideas. Even Cutthroat Pokemon, the biggest production I've taken on yet, it is where it is today because it had to undergo many changes. While Season 1 wasn't unsuccessful, there were many holes in the series that kept it from its full potential. Cutthroat Pokemon Season 2 as it stands today, it's still far from perfect, and if Season 3 ever takes place, there will be a slew of changes that need to be made. Innovating and creating new ideas is an uphill battle, which is why my last piece of advice on this idea of innovation is probably the most important. You shouldn't bank on it. And you shouldn't set yourself high expectations, or else you'll set yourself up for failure and disappointment automatically. In addition, you should first learn what type of content is fun for you and gives enjoyment to other people. This makes the whole process of innovating 10 times easier. Sustainably speaking, if innovation is your priority, you need a healthy mix of risk-taking and creating content that is reliably fun and reaches your personal goals. Innovation is supplemental until you know it works. Complementary to his talk on innovation, Drew also discussed the potential, or lack thereof, of the new games Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee coming out soon. Personally, I don't have much to say on this topic, but I feel like it's important to be realistic about the role of these games. These games aren't supposed to completely break open the Pokemon community, nor create a renaissance as we had in the X and Y days. Rather, these games are important to unite both new Pokemon fans and old. The longevity of these games is debatable for sure, but I think it's important to realize that we don't need these games to bring everything to the table to give us the ability to not all be doing the same thing come January when the hype starts to die down. I get it. Pokemon can be tiring, repetitive, and dry for many of us that play it many days of the week. It's with this notion that I empathize with many creators on YouTube and Twitch for feeling this way. It's because of this that if we feel this burnout starting to develop, it's important to not only remind ourselves that it's okay to feel this way, but to act appropriately. I think it's great seeing lots of people in our community dabble in other games, myself included. I mean, heck, Twitch metrics doesn't even list me as a Pokemon streamer on Twitch anymore. However, I think it's also important to remember the amazing things that this community does and how much more potential we have. It's a shame to see many people quick to write off the Pokemon community because of personal experiences and anecdotal pieces. But it's with this in mind that I think we can all take a step back, get out of our bubble of the people we work closely with, and appreciate the massive accomplishments we've made together and how much more is in store. Thanks for watching.